The cuff tightens around my arm with a soft hiss. Dr. Sterling's hands tremble as he watches the gauge. "Strong as ever," he says, but the words wobble like they're balancing on a wire. The exam room smells of antiseptic and lemon wipes. The clock eats seconds. When I rise, he steps in too close, professional but not. A paper kiss of sound against leather as something slips into my purse. "Family isn't always what it seems," he says, eyes refusing to meet mine. I almost answer, but his shoulders have already fallen, as if he's set down a boulder that only I can carry. Outside, the hallway bulbs hum. Reception smiles with teeth but not with eyes. The note in my purse becomes a small, living animal. I can feel it breathe. I tell myself I'll open it at home where the furniture knows my name. In the cab, the city's glass rivers flow by, and I decide I'm being dramatic. I've always been dramatic in private, never in public. At home, I'll make tea, read the note, and laugh at myself. By the time the cab turns onto my street, the animal in my purse is clawing. I do not laugh. I pay, step out, and find my house watching me. Inside, the living room is too quiet. I swallow the silence and it cuts. Benjamin looks up first, then Eleanor, then Olivia. Their voices wander away like children who hear their mother coming. Eleanor tucks papers behind her back. Too slow, too late. Then smiles with sugar on glass. "How was the appointment, Mom?" Benjamin asks, the word Mom landing like a coin dropped on tile. "Perfect health," I say, because the truth is still allowed in my mouth. Olivia's great-grandma arrives cold as a marble countertop. The house smells of rosemary and something burnt. At dinner, the table leans under conversations that go nowhere. "You're quiet," I say. "Tired," Benjamin says too quickly. I chew my food and my thoughts. When I excuse myself, my chair legs scrape a warning. In my room, with my back against the door, I open my purse and unfold the thing that has been breathing. 4 words bloom like bruises. Don't go home. Run. And then, they came yesterday. They asked me to certify you incompetent. They asked about your assets. Don't go home. Run. E.S. My hands shake, not from age but earthquake. Beneath the note, my pulse knocks on bone. Once I would have gone downstairs and asked, but once is gone now. I put the note in my bra next to my heart and feel my heart answer back. Noted. The house creaks. Somewhere a hinge remembers it can speak. I try to sleep, but the ceiling fans carve the night into thin slices of dread. At 2, the house exhale turns into voices, low, braided, purposeful. I slip to my door and finger the knob like a prayer bead. The words arrive crisp as winter. "Doctor wouldn't cooperate," Eleanor hisses. Benjamin's voice is a soft hammer. "We'll find someone who will." Olivia again, thinner but sharp. "My deposit is due. I need that money now." The old fairy tales never warned us that the wolves wear slippers. I press my ear to the seam. Lists appear. The house value, my pension, the burden of care. My name becomes numbers pronounced by people I fed. "If she resists, we make her life impossible," Eleanor says. "We'll switch her meds, hide things, tell her she's forgetful." She is excited. She is describing a haunted house she intends to live in. "Enough," Benjamin says. But it's a tired performance, a teacher tapping a desk after the test has ended. Plan B, he calls it. Plan B is the soft murder of a mind. They laugh, and the sound tramples old photographs in my head. In that laughter, something inside me unclenches. The woman they think is breakable puts her feet on the floor. My fear stands up and puts on my shoes. At 5 a.m., the house is a museum of people who once loved each other. I move through the galleries, silent, careful. In my room I pack a life that fits into a small suitcase, documents, a scarf that smells like the seaside, medicines, the little notebook with codes written in the shorthand only my wrist understands. I turn my phone into a witness, voice recorder on screen dim, and glide past their doors, catching whispers like butterflies in a jar. Eleanor, I'll copy the cards today. Benjamin, lawyer at 10, will ask about declaring her incompetent without a doctor. Their confidence is a card tower they think is a castle. I place the phone in my pocket and gather more wind. Olivia's complaint drifts out. I'm tired of pretending to love her. The words land, sink, and vanish, leaving a hole that fills with something heavier than grief. On the kitchen table, I leave a decoy note. Errands back later, love, because I know exactly how they see me. Predictable, small, slow. I am none of those things today. On my way out, I touch the door frame my husband built with his wide, gentle hands. I'm going, I tell the house, and for a heartbeat, I think it tells me to run. The street air tastes like a new alphabet. I call a cab and begin to spell. Banks open early for the nervous and the cunning. I am both. Patricia at the teller window blinks at my request, then lowers her voice into kindness. Are you sure, Ms. Caldwell? I am sure. I have never been more sure of a number than 5,000 and a pocket that understands urgency. While crisp bills slide like thin birds into an envelope, I verify accounts the world doesn't know I have. My husband taught me to keep a garden where thieves cannot walk. Offshore is just a word for the place where storms are lowercase. Outside, I buy a prepaid phone, the kind crime shows love and families forget. On a bench, I label it rain. My regular phone becomes thunder. I will be weather to them now, present, then gone. I call a cab with rain and ask for the Grand Imperial. The city's polished spine rises and I rise with it, floor by floor, to a 10th-story suite with curtains like theatre wings. I sit on the couch and let the day catch up. It finds me, breathless and faithful. I cry into my hands the way a person digs to find water. When I surface, the woman who stands up is taller than the one who sat down. I open the little notebook and list 3 names I'll need to survive. Then a 4th, my own. Lists steady the world. Mine reads, 1. Lawyer. 2. Investigator. 3. Doctor's affidavit. 4. Secure accounts. 5. Trap. The last word watches me like a cat. I call the best law firm in the city and hear the receptionist's voice change when I say elder abuse and recordings. Dr. Graham Montgomery meets me like a man who knows a storm when it knocks. His office is wood and law and soft carpet that swallows mistakes. I slide my phone across the desk and press play. My son's voice becomes evidence. Eleanor's becomes intent. Olivia's becomes premeditation in lowercase apology. Graham's lips thin. Mrs. Caldwell, he says, this is not a family dispute. This is a conspiracy. He speaks in squares, protective orders, injunctions, notices of representation. He says words like criminal exposure and fraud. He says we will not let them set your mind on fire. He drafts a letter that will land at my old house like a thunderclap. All communication through counsel. Any interference with medication or access is documented. Any attempt to seize assets will be answered in court. Do you want criminal charges? He asks finally. I do not recognize my voice when I say, yes, but timing matters. He nods the nod of men who play long games. Then we gather more, he says, and we let them be themselves. Graham recommends a private investigator with a spine like braided wire. Rosa Hale shakes my hand as if measuring whether I'm a client or a cause. After my story, she decides I am a cause. I'll need permission to pull your camera footage from the bank, she says, already dialing. And I'll sit on your property line to watch them be clumsy. She smiles without joy. People always are when they think the prey is old. We map the days ahead. Eleanor will try the cards. Benjamin will try the law. Olivia will try her conscience and lose. Rosa sets up a quiet perimeter, a camera across the street, a friend at the pharmacy, a clerk at the office where notaries forget who looked nervous. Text me only from Rain, she says, and gives me a number labelled Shade. Back at the hotel, I eat soup like it's the first honest meal I've had in years. Thunder, my old phone, lights up with Benjamin's name. I let it ring into somewhere that isn't me. Then I answer with Rain, a number he doesn't know. "Mom, where are you?" he demands on the other line, the line that can't find me. "Taking a day for myself," I say into a phone he cannot see. For the first time, he sounds afraid. Fear is a mirror. I polish it and set it where he will walk. Rosa's first update arrives before noon. Eleanor at my bank branch, eyes bright with purpose, a copier whirring somewhere in the background of a security feed. "She photographed 2 of your cards," Rosa texts, then bought a coffee with her own like people do when they're villains but also thirsty. The timestamp is a gift. We will use it. Graham's letter lands. Benjamin replies with a message so polite it could curtsy. Inside it, I hear rage rehearsing its lines. He insists on a family meeting to address Mom's needs. My attorney answers with 2 sentences and a paragraph of law. The front they wore for neighbours now feels itchy against their skin. That evening, Rosa's friend at the pharmacy confirms a man matching Benjamin's description, asking curious questions about my prescriptions. Dosages, manufacturers, side effects. "He left without buying," Rosa says. "Cameras in place." In my suite, the city opens its glittered palm. I pin index cards to the hotel's writing desk. Dates, faces, places. A simple web that becomes a net. I title the centre, Mind. The lines that radiate from it are the ways they plan to take mine. I print small photos from Rosa's texts and tape them down. My life has become both evidence and art. Tomorrow I will make them an offer they cannot resist, and absolutely should. Morning tastes like metal and victory. I re-listen to the 2 a.m. recording, marking timestamps where their intent isn't just ugly, it's useful. Switch her meds. Declare her incompetent. Graham files a preservation of evidence notice. If any device in that house is lost, a judge will read that as fear. Rosa drops a tiny camera behind the hedge across my porch. "They'll forget the outside seas," she says, threading it like a pearl into green. I call Dr. Sterling from Rain. His relief is a warm coat. "I'll give a sworn statement," he says. We schedule it for noon. Clinic back office, blinds tilted like careful eyelids. He prints the visit notes that said I was healthy and countersigns the addendum. Patient competent, oriented X3, sound judgment. By evening, Benjamin's text, forwarded to Graham, pleads for dialogue. He does not mention the pharmacy. He does not mention the camera that watched Eleanor feed a copier with my cards. The house across town breathes fast. My hotel room learns to breathe slow. Flight is not running, it's choreography. I set up mail forwarding to a P.O. box under a trust name my husband once joked about, the Mulberry. Rosa sweeps my house's mailbox, credit offers, a glossy brochure for a care facility with calming lakes. I circle its name on my desk map and draw a line to Benjamin. Sales pitch inbound. Night brings small courage tests, walking past the mirror and meeting a woman with sharp, awake eyes, answering room service without apologising. The city hum below is an orchestra tuning. I practice saying, "all communication through council," aloud, so it comes out like a door knocker, 3 clean raps. In the morning, I buy a plain blazer and comfortable shoes, the uniform of women who will not be moved. I put thunder in a safe and carry rain like a talisman. When the elevator doors part, I imagine they open into a courtroom. I step out like a witness with nothing left to lose and everything to say. The clinic's staff know the slow theatre of secrets. They move like librarians in a storm. In the back office, Sterling signs his name and then his name again, one on the affidavit, one on the letter warning that a family tried to pressure him to falsify incompetency. "I documented their visit," he adds quietly. "Dates, names." I hand him a copy of Graham's letter for their chart. If anyone calls fishing for information, the answer will be, "Speak to counsel." He nods, relieved to be as brave on paper as he felt in his bones yesterday. On my way out, I buy coffee for the front desk. Gratitude slid through cardboard sleeves. In the parking lot, a blue sedan idles too long, then peels off. I text Rosa. "Possible tale." She replies, Got them. Plate logged. Back at the hotel, I add Sterling's affidavit to the growing stack. Paper is heavy, but a particular kind of heavy, the kind that sinks lies. The suite transforms. The coffee table becomes a map table. The desk becomes a command post. I use tape like a conductor's baton, bank CCTV stills of Eleanor's copying spree, timestamps from pharmacy questions, screen grabs of Benjamin's pained politeness. In the centre, I pin the word credibility. Beneath it, an arrow to her mind is intact. Rosa arrives with a quiet knock and 2 drives. Street cam got him practicing outrage on the porch, she says, like a man rehearsing concern. We replay a clip. He opens my front door, scans the frame, whispers to Eleanor. She took the notebook. My little ledger, the one in my bag, earned a mention. We plan a bait, a mediated family conference in a neutral office space recorded legally, with Graham present. They'll come, Rosa says. Abusers love optics. I circle a date, Friday. The calendar square sits there, calm as a spring. They will step on it thinking it's grass. That night, Rosa texts. They're staging confusion. The porch cam watches Eleanor move my reading glasses to the freezer, my keys under a bathroom sink, then film herself discovering them with a soft cluck of pity. Benjamin narrates, she's been slipping. He sends the video to a contact labelled Placement Advisor. We save the file, noting its metadata, a modern fables moral written in XF. Olivia sits apart in the footage, arms folded, jaw working. Later, she paces the backyard alone and kicks a pebble until it finds a drain. The child I loved is in there somewhere, small and angry. Graham files a notice with Adult Protective Services. Not a complaint, yet just a flag. Potential coercion, financial exploitation risk, counsel retained, health affirmed. Bureaucracies move like glaciers until they don't, then they crush. I sleep lightly. Dreams slide under the door, but I do not invite them to stay. Tomorrow we tighten the perimeter. Tomorrow we smile with teeth. Graham's letters move out in triplicate like carrier pigeons in suits. To Benjamin, notice of representation, demand to cease interference. To the bank's fraud unit, freeze attempted copies, transaction alerts. To the pharmacy, document any non-patient inquiry. He copies Sterling and APS. Each letter is a brick. Together they build a wall. Benjamin replies through a new email account, a bad performance of sincerity. We only want what's best, he writes. Mother is forgetting things. Graham answers. Attached. Physician affidavit. Cognitive assessment scheduled. Any further claims should be accompanied by evidence. Also attached. CCTV of your wife copying cards. Silence stretches, then snaps. Ringtone. Thunder buzzes in the safe as though trying to escape. On rain, Olivia messages from an unknown number. Grandma, are you safe? 3 words that do not match her filmed indifference. I picture her kicking the pebble. I answer, yes. She replies, good. Then nothing. A crack in the wall. Not trust, not yet, but light finds any hole it's offered. Watch this, Rosa says, dropping another clip. Eleanor meets with a mobile notary at the dining table, papers arranged like playing cards. Care consent authorization, the header claims. The notary's pen hovers. Benjamin improvises. She asked us to manage her affairs. The notary asks where I am. Benjamin says, resting. Rosa zooms on the watermark. A free templates logo ghosting through. Amateur hour. The notary refuses. Eleanor's smile fractures. We'll reschedule, she says, like a villain trying to tame time. We log the notary's name and fetch her statement. Graham drafts a paragraph for later filings. Attempted execution of fraudulent care authorization. Refused by notary. Date, time recorded. Rosa leans back. They'll keep pressing. We'll keep letting them. There's a freedom in letting a trap work. You do not push the animal toward it. You wait for hunger to do the job. The pharmacist returns Rosa's call. Man fitting the description asked if generics could be swapped without notation. she says. Wanted to know if pills could look different but work the same so his mum wouldn't worry. She sounds disgusted. We flagged the account. Graham adds a line to the timeline. Suspected intent to alter meds. Words that once would have terrified me now build a fortress. I think about the nights I counted Benjamin's breaths when he had a cough, the soups I cooled with my own spoon. People say betrayal hurts like a knife, but it's more like frostbite. You don't know what you've lost until you try to feel with it. I push memory aside gently, like an old dress back into a closet. Friday, Rosa says, tapping the circle on the calendar. Be ready to look small, then be big. I can do that. I have done that all my life. Midweek, a name we don't know appears in Benjamin's call logs, Dr. Willoughby, known for signing things that make families smoother. Rosa's friend at a clinic whispers that he schedules quick capacity assessments like drive-through oil changes. We set an appointment of our own. Graham books me for a formal neuropsych evaluation with a reputable specialist. Beat fraud with sunlight, he says. The date goes on our board, bolded. That night, Olivia posts a filtered photo of a latte with a caption about fresh starts. The comments are friends who do not know what fresh costs. I remember teaching her to tie her shoes, rabbit ears looping, her giggle when she got it right. I type, then delete, then type again. I love you. I don't send it. Love can be evidence, too, of motive, of target, of leverage. I place it back where it belongs, my chest, unfiled. Eleanor tries again. Different notary, different day, same rotten apple. This time she brings a doctor's note claiming mild cognitive impairment, crudely scanned with a letterhead Sterling hasn't used in years. Rosa laughs, the sound of a blade being cleaned. We print the real letterhead and lay them side by side. The forgery is pale and clumsy. Graham drafts a motion for temporary restraining orders. No contact, no asset interference, no medical meddling, pending hearing. We'll hold until after Friday, he says. Let them walk into the room smiling. I prepare my part. A soft cardigan, a calm face, a folder of documents so neatly tabbed even a hostile eye will relax. Dignity as armor, competence as a mirror. Before bed, I take out the note from Sterling and read it again. Not to reopen fear, but to honor the moment everything changed. Don't go home, it told me. I didn't. I went somewhere braver. Graham sends the mediation invitation. Neutral office, security on site, recording permitted with consent. A promise to discuss care plans and financial boundaries. It uses the language of compromise like a lure uses silver. Benjamin accepts within 10 minutes. Of course, he writes. Eleanor answers with a heart emoji, the modern seal on a fake treaty. Olivia doesn't reply. Rosa meets me at the office early. 2 exits, she says, showing me the doors. 1 private elevator. Security knows your name and theirs. She pins a tiny mic to my collar, then checks the room camera's angle. Let them try to love you out loud, she murmurs. Let them show us what love means to them. I sit in the chair they will face and practice breathing. I imagine my late husband's hand on my shoulder, steady as a horizon. We're ready, I tell the empty room. The room believes me. They arrive fashionably remorseful. Benjamin's tie says serious. Eleanor's perfume says performance. Olivia's hoodie says I don't belong here, but I do. Graham shakes hands like a judge running a rehearsal. We're concerned, Benjamin begins, eyes damp. She's been misplacing. Graham slides a printout across the table, Eleanor placing my glasses in the freezer. Misplacing? He asks mildly. Eleanor's mouth opens, then closes. We only asked the doctor, Benjamin tries, and Graham lays down Sterling's affidavit. Asked yes, pressured no. He pivots to the pharmacy log, then to the bank stills. Each page is a gentle bell that tolls for them. Olivia's eyes shine with something like heat. She looks at me, not at the papers, a question forming that she does not ask. We propose boundaries, Graham says. No access to finances, no uninvited visits, All communication through counsel, violate, and we file. Benjamin nods too fast. Agreed, he says. Eleanor smiles a resentful yes. We leave it there for now, a chessboard mid-game. They think they traded a pawn for a path. They did not see the knight. In the corridor, my legs remember I am 70. Rosa steadies me with a palm between the shoulder blades. You were perfect, she says. You were yourself, I answer. Back in the suite, we debrief. He agreed too quickly, Rosa notes. Expect a flank move. Graham schedules the neuropsych test for Monday and files a notice with the court that a competency evaluation is underway, preempting Willoughby's rubber stamp. Night brings Thunder's old ghosts again. Mom, call me. We can resolve this. The lawyer is poisoning you. I turn the phone face down. Poison is a substance, also a story people drink on purpose. I make tea that tastes like clean. Over the city, the moon hangs like a white coin I plan never to spend. Sleep comes like a polite visitor and leaves quietly before dawn. Rosa forwards an audio clip ripped from a chat app. Olivia to a friend. They want me to play along. I hate it. But I need the tuition. The friend replies with the soft cruelty of youth. Then play. Olivia adds, whisper thin. She raised me. The sentence hangs there, a spider thread catching light. I walk the suite twice, then text the unknown number that messaged me before. Olivia, I'm safe. You can be too. For an hour, nothing. Then, I don't know what to do. I type, erase, type. Tell the truth when asked. To yourself, if not to them. When you're ready, I'll help with tuition. No strings, but there will be boundaries. I hit send and put the phone down like a hot pan. Her reply comes later. Okay. Not a confession, not a promise. A door left unlocked in a hallway of locked ones. Graham gets our case assigned to Judge Armitage, a woman with a reputation for disliking shortcuts. He files for temporary orders with exhibits numbered like steps on a staircase. We won't serve yet, he says. Keep them comfortable. Rosa's cam catches Eleanor at the mailbox, reading our mediation memo and rolling her eyes so hard it looks like a prayer. Benjamin, meanwhile, paces the porch and types long messages, deletes them, types again. I prepare for court the way I prepared for PTA nights and anniversaries, clothes laid out, papers ordered, heart armoured with memory. The difference is that this time I'm the guest of honour and the host. I open my ledger and add a new page, the life after, not revenge, repair. A book club at the library, volunteering at the clinic, a trip to the coast where my husband taught me to read tides. The future writes in pencil, but it writes. It happens on a Thursday. Eleanor returns to the bank with a fresh plan, open a household account using my name as a secondary. The teller stalls sweet as honey on a spoon while a manager reviews the alert. A quiet call goes out. Rosa, waiting in her car, gets the ping. She films Eleanor through the glass as security politely escorts her out. Strike one, Rosa texts with a baseball emoji that makes me laugh out loud, an odd bright sound in a week of iron. Benjamin, perhaps panicking, messages Graham demanding immediate access to ensure my safety. Graham replies with appointment confirmations for my neuropsych evaluation and a gentle note that Adult Protective Services has been looped in. The silence that follows is not empty. It is crowded with recalculations. I close the day by standing at the window, city lights like an electrocardiogram, human and constant. Somewhere across town, my house rests, a good house that will not be blamed for who tried to own it. Tomorrow we set the final tiles. Tomorrow we let them slip. Friday dawns, the air thin with expectation. Graham sends one final sharp-edged letter to Benjamin, confirmation of our upcoming court date, warning of criminal exposure for continued interference, and notice that law enforcement has been briefed. The language is dry, but each sentence is a match. Within an hour, Benjamin calls Thunder 16 times. I don't answer. Rosa reports him storming into a parking lot, pacing under a tree, phone jammed to his ear. Eleanor sits in their SUV fuming, tapping a manicured nail against the window glass. Olivia stares at her lap. By evening, a neighbour texts Rosa a video, Eleanor in the driveway, shouting at Benjamin. "You promised me," she screams. 10 years and nothing. The neighbour's porch light clicks on. The performance collapses. Rosa saves the file. Graham smiles when he hears the audio. We're not the ones cracking. They are. I sit in my hotel room, steadying my breath. The trap is no longer being set. It's already sprung. The second mediation attempt is a farce. They arrive with fake smiles stretched too thin, Benjamin clutching a folder he won't open. Graham barely speaks. The evidence sits between us like a third party at the table. Eleanor tries charm, tries tears, then silence. Benjamin's words stumble. Olivia keeps her eyes on me. When Graham asks if they've attempted any further financial transactions, Benjamin lies. Rosa slides in with fresh footage, Eleanor at the bank counter. The silence is surgical. We only, Eleanor begins, then slams the folder shut. Graham ends the meeting in 3 sentences. You are advised not to contact Mrs. Caldwell again. Any violation will be addressed in court and with law enforcement. This session is concluded. Their footsteps echo down the hall, louder than when they entered. For the first time, I feel taller than my son. For the first time, I know he feels it too. Monday morning, the pharmacist files a sworn statement. Benjamin's questions about changing pills are written in black ink, signed, dated. Graham adds it to our binder, now thicker than a family Bible. Rosa delivers the bank manager's affidavit as well, confirming Eleanor's attempt to create a fraudulent account. 2 nails in the coffin, Graham says, voice calm, eyes sharp. Meanwhile, Rosa's cameras catch a new tactic. Eleanor ranting in the kitchen, complaining that the old woman is manipulating the system. She doesn't realise Olivia is recording on her phone, rolling her eyes in the corner. That clip reaches Rosa within hours. I watch it 3 times. My granddaughter's sigh, the shake of her head. It's not love yet, but it's distance from hate. Sometimes survival is measured in inches. That inch may one day be a mile. The footage from the bank is crystalline. Eleanor leaning across the counter, whispering urgently. The teller's body language stiff. Security stepping in. Her lips moving. She won't know. The timestamp sits in the corner like a witness that cannot be shaken. We watch it in the war room. Graham taps his pen. This is fraud, plain and simple. Attempted theft. When we serve, it won't be just protective orders. It'll be charges. I think of Eleanor in her wedding dress, 20 years ago, smiling as I kissed her cheek and said, "Welcome to the family." My memory rebels against the woman in this footage, but memory is not evidence. Evidence is colder, cleaner. I nod. Serve them when you're ready. My voice doesn't shake. It's steel wrapped in skin. Rosa grins. Now you sound like me. Tuesday morning, the courthouse hallway smells of coffee and dust. Judge Armitage enters, robes flowing like calm thunder. Graham lays our binder on her desk, a monument of paper. The judge listens without interrupting as he outlines the attempted forgery, the bank fraud, the pharmacy questions. Then she plays Sterling's affidavit aloud. The doctor's words fill the chamber. Patient is sound, competent, oriented. Benjamin tries to interject something about concern, about love. Armitage silences him with one raised hand. Love does not require fraud, she says. Her gavel taps once. Temporary protective orders are granted. Benjamin slumps. Eleanor glares. Olivia wipes her eyes quickly when no one is looking. Outside, Rosa squeezes my hand. That was round 1, she whispers. And you won. That afternoon, a representative from Adult Protective Services visits me at the hotel. She is kind, efficient, and devastatingly clear. We've opened a case, she explains. Financial exploitation, coercion, attempted fraud. We'll be monitoring your family closely. Her clipboard fills with my answers. My voice is steady. When she leaves, I feel lighter. Someone official has written down my story, not just for me, but for the state. Meanwhile, Rosa texts that Eleanor spent the afternoon on the phone, screaming about lawyers, cursing my name. Benjamin sits on the porch smoking, a habit he'd quit 20 years ago. Olivia stays inside. I pour tea and look out at the city lights. For decades I was invisible in service to them. Now the world is watching them instead. At midnight, a soft ping on Rain. Olivia, I can't do this anymore. My fingers hover. She sends a voice note. Grandma, they wanted me to lie. They said you forget things, that you wander. I recorded it. I don't want you to hate me. The audio plays, shaky and raw. Benjamin coaching her to describe me leaving the stove on. Eleanor prompting lines like a cruel director. Olivia's voice cracks. This isn't true, she whispers in the recording. I cry, not out of pain but release. The little girl with rabbit ear shoelaces is still inside her. I don't hate you, I reply. I never could. She sends a final text. Then help me. I whisper yes to an empty room, a vow folded into the dark. The very next day, Rosa intercepts a courier envelope leaving my old house. Inside, a forged, updated will, naming Benjamin sole heir. The signature is mine, but wrong. Letters bent, pen pressure too light. Graham examines it with a magnifying glass. Amateurs, he mutters. We add it to the binder, our arsenal nearly complete. Fraud, conspiracy, elder abuse, forgery. The list now reads like an indictment, not a family matter. When Graham notifies Judge Armitage, she responds in less than an hour. Prepare for expedited hearing. The speed is astonishing, terrifying, exhilarating. I sit at my desk and write in my notebook. They tried to erase me with ink. They didn't know I had more paper than they did. Friday arrives heavy as a storm. Rosa checks the recording equipment twice, 3 times. Graham lays out the binder on the conference table like a sword on velvet. Security stands by the door, calm but ready. Benjamin enters first, his suit sharp but his eyes frantic. Eleanor follows, chin high, a smile that doesn't reach her skin. Olivia drifts in last, her hoodie pulled close, phone hidden in her sleeve. Thank you for coming, Graham begins. His tone is courteous, his smile practiced. I sit still, cardigan folded neat, hands resting atop the table. My heart is a drum, but my face is stone. They launch into their performance, concern, love, sacrifice. She's confused, Benjamin insists. She needs care. Eleanor nods furiously. Olivia remains silent. Interesting, Graham says, sliding a USB across the table. Let's hear her confusion. He presses play. Their own voices flood the room, plotting, mocking, scheming. Their faces blanch. The trap has sprung. The second audio plays, the one where Benjamin calmly suggests switching my medication. Eleanor gasps, eyes darting to the door. Olivia lowers her head. Next, the bank footage fills the screen. Eleanor leaning over the counter, whispering, timestamp glowing. Then the notary statement, the pharmacist's affidavit, Dr. Sterling's sworn letter. Each piece lands like a hammer. You see, Graham says evenly. Concern doesn't look like forgery. Love doesn't look like fraud. And family doesn't look like theft. Benjamin sputters. We were desperate. No, I cut in, my voice steady. You were greedy. The silence afterward is thick as concrete. For the first time they look at me not as prey, but as someone they never truly knew, and maybe never will. 2 plainclothes officers enter quietly, as if arriving late to a play. Graham hands them the binder. They skim, nod, and approach. Benjamin Caldwell, Eleanor Caldwell, you are under investigation for attempted fraud, elder abuse and conspiracy. Please come with us. Benjamin's face collapses. Eleanor's shrieks echo down the hall. Olivia rises slowly, trembling, but the officers don't touch her. She isn't on their list. As they're led away, Eleanor hisses at me. You'll regret this. I meet her eyes. No, I'll remember this. The doors close behind them. My lungs finally remember how to fill. Rosa smiles, fierce and proud. Graham gathers the papers, now transformed from evidence into proof. Days later, the courtroom is packed. Judge Armitage presides, her gavel like a heartbeat. Benjamin's lawyer argues incompetence, but the neuropsychologist's report is unflinching. Patient is sharp, competent, fully oriented. Sterling confirms it. Then come the recordings, the footage, the forged will. The judge listens, impassive, until the final clip ends. Motion denied, she declares. Protective orders extended. Referral to criminal court approved. Her eyes cut through Benjamin and Eleanor like glass. This is not care. This is cruelty. I exhale into my hands, the sound halfway between a sob and a laugh. For the first time in weeks, I feel safe. That evening, I sit with Graham in his office. We draft a new will, simple and clean. My estate is placed in trust, funds for charity, scholarships, and a portion for Olivia, provided she remains independent from her parents. Benjamin and Eleanor are removed entirely. When the pen leaves the paper, I feel lighter. 45 years of love, betrayal and sacrifice, now redirected into something that will outlast me. This, I whisper, is freedom. Graham nods. You've taken back everything they tried to steal. I fold the will into an envelope and press it against my chest. My heart beats strong beneath it, stronger than before. Benjamin requests one final meeting before his arraignment. Against advice, I agree. We meet in a supervised room, glass between us. His eyes are tired, his shoulders slumped. Mom, he begins, voice cracked. I didn't mean... You did, I interrupt softly. You meant every word. You just didn't expect me to hear it. He swallows, searching for something that isn't there. I lean closer to the glass. I gave you everything, and you taught me the hardest lesson of my life. Family isn't always blood. Sometimes family is chosen. His mouth opens, closes. The guard signals time. I rise and leave without looking back. The goodbye is not loud. It is final. Weeks pass. I join a book club at the library. I volunteer twice a week at Dr. Sterling's clinic, comforting patients in waiting rooms. I even reconnect with an old friend from years past, someone I'd pushed aside during my years of sacrifice. Olivia writes me a letter. She apologizes, not for what she said, but for what she almost became. You raised me better, she admits. I'll prove it now. Enclosed is her first semester's tuition receipt, paid from a part-time job, not stolen funds. I cry again, this time with pride. Life begins to bloom in ways I never imagined. Not perfect, but real. Not broken, but healing. One morning I wake in the suite, sunlight spilling like gold over the city skyline. I brew tea, sit by the window and open my notebook. At the top of a fresh page I write, I ran. For weeks, those words meant escape. Now they mean something else. I ran toward my own strength. I ran toward a life I thought was over but wasn't. I ran toward myself. I close the notebook and smile. The world outside is loud, complicated, unkind. But inside, I am quiet, steady, whole. The doctor told me not to go home. He was right. I didn't go home. I found one instead. And if this story touched you, if it made your chest tighten, your eyes burn, your heart race, then don't leave just yet. Subscribe for more stories like this, stories that remind us of strength when it feels gone, and love when it feels lost. Like this video if you felt Martha's courage, and share in the comments. What would you have done if you were in her shoes? Your voice matters, and your story deserves to be heard too.